Alright. Hey guys. I talked about this in my playtest video a little bit, but I decided I'm going to restart my Miitopia Let's Play again. I know I said I wasn't going to, but some fortunate, not unfortunate, but you know, good stuff came up. My friend Green Ethan figured out how to emulate Miitopia, and he helped me to do it too. So I'm gonna do it this way instead, because not only will it provide me with better quality, but I can also do mods. Well, as far as I know, the only mod I have right now is that I know works is the controllable party members mod. I'm still playing through my main profile to see if the sickness mod works. That one I still need to test out and maybe do some trial and error if possible. But yes, not only is it not as much of a pain to set up, it also provides me with better quality, and I will be able to control all of my party members, as you guys will see. But yeah, I just wanted to get you guys up to speed. I already went ahead and made my Miis that I plan to have for my teams, and then Azure will be the Great Sage, Icy will be the Dark Curse. But first we'll have Ashton and Anton and Taru. They're going to be our Greenhorn teammates. Then Manton, Eva, and Green Ethan will be our next door teammates. Then Purple Ethan, Orkia, and Mikhail will be our Realm of the Fae teammates. Taru, Green Ethan, and Mikhail will be my main 3 teammates that I'm gonna use all throughout the series until the Tower of Despair. But yeah, I went ahead and made them and, you know, gave them their makeup and the wig. That way we wouldn't have to do that on screen, because it does take up a lot of time, and I want to keep this video between 45 minutes to an hour, because I've been anxious about it shutting off on me. So hopefully I'll be able to get this video out. And as long as I just keep deleting videos off of my computer after I upload them, I shouldn't have that issue again. I'm hoping that was just a storage space issue or that I can easily prevent. But yeah. Also, another thing to take in mind, I mentioned this too, but I'm gonna do my Papa Louie videos more frequently, and I'm gonna keep my Miitopia episodes fewer and further between, because, you know, I want this to last. There's only one game, and whereas with the Papa Louie videos, you know, the Papa Louie games, there's multiple games, so I just think it'll work out best if I do those more frequently, and then, like, only do Miitopia fewer and further between. But yeah, my Miitopia videos are also going to be more commentary heavy than my Papa Louie videos, because, you know, Miitopia, you know, it's more relaxing than Papa Louie, in my opinion. I know it's a fighting game, but I honestly do find it a bit more laid back than than Papa Louie, because with Papa Louie, you know, you have to multitask. You have to make sure you're taking the customer's order. You have to make sure you're getting their order out quickly. You have to make sure to not or overcook the food. You have to spread out the toppings evenly. You know, there's a lot of multitasking, and you know, commentating does make it a bit harder. Make it even harder. Now, it'll still have commentary, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm gonna not commentate. I still want it to have a little bit. Cause it's for like, you know, I don't like making video like let's play videos without commentary at all. That's one of my, you know, cause that's half the fun. Not only playing the game, but also talking to you guys about stuff. But it is a bit harder with a game where you gotta multitask, so. Whereas with Miitopia, these will be the games that I'm really gonna let loose and, you know, talk to you guys about what's been going on, you know. Talk to you guys and you know, just keep you guys caught up. So that's another reason why I rather keep these few and farther between. Because if I do these all the time, I'm eventually going to run out of things to talk about, you know. If I wait a decent amount of time between episodes, you know, more stuff will happen, you know, and I'll have more to talk to you guys about. But yeah, don't worry, my Papa Louie videos will still have commentary. I just mean it won't have nearly as much. Like, I'm sure if you go and watch my Papa Louie videos and then you come back and watch my Miitopia videos, you can probably tell that, you know, I'm a lot more comfortable with doing commentary on Miitopia because, you know, I don't have to multitask, so it's definitely a lot easier, you know. It's just a more relaxed game for doing so. But yeah. As of recording this, it is Thursday, this April 16th, but when I premiere this, it'll be, I mean, not Thursday, Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, the 16th, and then when I premiere this, it'll be Thursday, the 17th. And yeah, I'm just gonna do the default. That way I don't have to figure out me's all the time, because that will take up a lot of time. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably end this between, like, you know, I don't want it to get too much over an hour, so at the most, I plan to make this just an hour because of, if I make this too long, it could shut off on me again. It might not even save. You know, I've dealt with that a few times. Like, when I'm in the middle of making a video, it just shuts off due to storage, and it doesn't even save. Like, I fucking hate low storage. But yeah, I actually have quite a bit of stuff to talk to you guys about for this episode. No, I know I've talked about this in a lot of episodes, but you know how I've been talking about for years about, guardianship, getting an ID, getting a bank account, going to a psychiatrist. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the latter anymore, but after my dad gets his hip surgery, which is on the 22nd, I'm hoping we can at least finally get my ID. I don't know if I'm gonna get my bank account next month too, but if I can at least get my ID, that will be a big step. Because I was supposed to get it years ago, but it just hasn't worked out, First, we were dealing with the pandemic, but then we were trying to deal with, guardianship. But now my dad is gonna try to see if we can get an ID on my own. Because, Purple Ethan, I know you're probably not going to be able to come to this live stream, but I'm going to mention you anyway. But I know you said something about getting your state ID back in 2018. I don't know, that seems kind of stupid, having to get guardianship just to get a state ID, or even to get a bank account, I don't see that being a requirement, especially because so many lawyers refuse to do guardianship, because, they have, cases, they have, people who are possibly, facing prison sentences, and, they could make a lot of money for winning those cases. So many lawyers just have bigger fishes to fry, more money to make, more important stuff to do. It's a pain in the ass to get guardianship, and I'm honestly kind of skeptical of it anyway, because, I heard, it's just a messy process, and it can be a messy thing itself. So, my dad is gonna try to see if we can get my ID and my bank account without the whole rigmarole. Because I know Purple Ethan, I don't know if he has if he had to go through a guardianship process. He never said anything about that, and he was able to get his ID. Because the thing is, I can't drive, so I have to get a regular ID rather than a driver's license. And I know Purple Ethan, he can't drive either, so he too just has to get a regular ID, or has to have a regular ID. And and he himself has a day program that he goes to, which I'll be getting into that probably a little bit in this video. You know what? I'm just gonna do a mage job, and I think I'm gonna be a scientist for next door. Of course, when I get to Realm of the Fae, I'll be a princess, but I gotta choose temporary jobs for Greenhorn and next door. Because the thing is, I much prefer magic attacks over magic-based jobs over physical attack-based jobs. Yeah, it's gonna suck for fiends and stuff, but I still prefer it because moles we will have to face some moles throughout this playthrough, and they can dodge physical attacks, so I much prefer to just have magic attacks, because, they're easier to deal with. Plus the mage job, it's just really good. The mage job is OP. So it's a good temporary job, along with the scientist, until I get my permanent job in Realm of the Fae. Now, like, when you only have your basic attack, it's pretty shitty, but you only have it for a couple of battles. Like, I think you unlock fire as early as, like, level 2, so it's not really a big drawback. Yeah, see, we're about to level up. We barely missed it. But yeah. My dad had his oral surgery last week on Friday. And so far, the recovery is going very smoothly. Like, I mean, it still kind of hurts because, it's only been 5 days. Or, today's Wednesday. And, he had it on Friday, so, yeah, it's only been 5 days, and he's already feeling better and better by the day. And he actually feels relieved, because, he had wisdom teeth that would always hurt, so he actually feels better now that they're out. And once he gets his hip fixed, he'll feel even better, because his leg won't hurt anymore, and he should be, recovered, or at least closer to recovery from his teeth extractions. But yeah, the pop star, it has a lot of support skills, but in terms of, like, offense, like, it's just very mid. So we'll go with the mage and the scientist for Greenhorn and Next Door, respectively. Plus, me and Ashton can both be mages for Greenhorn, and me and Green Ethan can both be scientists for Next Door. Did I say Greenhorn with the mages? I don't know, but yeah. Me and Ashton can both be mages for Greenhorn, and me and Green Ethan can both be scientists for Next Door. Gulp. But yeah, my dad had his oral surgery last week on Friday, and next week on Tuesday, he'll have his hip surgery. And then he said in about 2 weeks, he should be recovered and he'll be able to be going back to doing things normally. And he doesn't even go back to work until, I think, June 9th, actually, which is my birthday. So we'll still have the vast majority of May. He'll have the vast majority of May to do stuff. Because the thing is, like, him and my brother, they need to get their license renewed too. So even if it wasn't for me, they need having to get an ID, they would still have to go for them. So yeah, I'm actually glad that we all have to go anyway, because you know, it gives my dad a push. We all, you know, they need their licenses renewed, and I need to get my ID. So we all have to. All three of us have to go anyway. So we should be doing that soon after he has his hip surgery. Once he recover, like, you know, maybe like, you know, around the 2-week mark he mentioned, we'll probably go. And like I said, since he'll still be out of work until June 9th, it'll be very easy, because, you know, that's another thing too, is like, you know, work gets in the way of this stuff. But since he'll still be off until June, it'll be a lot easier for us to just go up, you know, wake up and do it. Alright, Ashton is gonna be a cautious mage. Mother and son. Yeah, see? Level 2 and I'm already kicking ass. Ashton, though, yeah, he still has his basic attack. Man, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat dinner after this. While this is uploading, it'll be a good time to eat dinner. A good way to kill time as this uploads. Of course, son. We all know these Miis are addicted to bananas and candy. Aww. How sweet. But yeah, I can't wait until May. Because by the time the May gets here, my dad should be. Well, we'll say a week or so into May, he should be recovered from his hip surgery and will probably go to the DMV for their driver's license renewal and my ID. Because I've been needing to get my ID for years. It's just, like I said, so many stuff was getting in the way, such as the pandemic, the whole guardianship thing, but like I said, we never really got the whole guardianship process fully done, so we're gonna try to do this without it, which I hope we'll be able to. Plenty of people who are special needs and live with their parents have IDs and bank account, and probably no guardianship. And I would hope, you know, people who work at the DMV and a bank account are aware about how it's next to impossible to get it done successfully. So hopefully I'll be able to, like I said, hopefully I'll be able to get these things without the whole guardianship rigmarole. If anything, I've heard some questionable things about guardianship, so I mean, not just with like guardians, it's not my dad that I don't trust, but it's just the whole it's the system, It can be a bit questionable, for lack of better words, at times. So yeah, it's probably better to not go through with it if we can, which hopefully we will. Yeah, I figured I'd prioritize Ashton, since for him, the mage job is permanent, So if he's ahead of me on, mage equipment, that's completely fine. Okay, 26 minutes. Alright, we still have a good amount of time. However, Purple Ethan, you know the context, but I learned something yesterday. Something kind of unfortunate, actually. But yeah, I didn't bring this up because I was busy talking, but yep, as you can see, I can control not only myself, but Ashton as well. So that's going to be a game changer. Green Ethan is also doing a Let's Play with this mod. But yeah. Aww. The cautious pose is so cute when they level up. But yeah, apparently, and I don't know what it's like for other states. Purple Ethan, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, I don't know what it's like for Kansas. Green Ethan, I don't know what it's like for your state, Washington State, but apparently here in Texas, when you get your ID, it automatically registers you to vote. And that means you are at risk for being called for jury duty. That was definitely kind of a shock, because back in November 2019, my mom told me that you have to register to vote in order to be on the list of summonees to be called into jury duty. That's what I'm gonna call them, summonees, because you're getting summoned into jury duty. Man, I'm so hungry. Cause I thought it was separate, you know. When you get your, like, I thought you had to just register to vote manually. I didn't think it was an automatic registration upon getting your ID. But apparently it is here in Texas. And it might vary from state to state. Like I said, I'm not sure what it's like for you guys and for other states, but apparently here in Texas, getting your ID automatically registers you to vote. So yeah, that is scary. Because I brought it up in the truck. We were running some errands yesterday. Me, my dad, and my brother. And I brought up, and I was like, it would be interesting if my brother got called into jury duty. Then my dad was like, once you get your ID, like, I think he said something along the lines of, once you get your ID, you will have a chance. And then I was like, but I'm not registered to vote. Then he said, that's what getting your ID does in Texas. So, yeah, that was definitely a very, I guess you can say, interesting thing I learned yesterday. I think jury duty should be optional. Not everyone has the mental capacity to sit in a courtroom for hours on end, listening to evidence. Like, I know I don't. Like, and I can't sit still. Like, if I have to sit somewhere for a while, like, I'll fidget. Like, I'll rock in my chair back and forth. Yeah. I can't stay still for shit. So if I were to get called into jury duty, like, I feel like I would just be a disruption, and I can't help it. Like, you know, there's certain things that I do, that I just can't help. We'll go back to the tough path eventually, but since it's just two of us, the easy path is better. Ooh, nice. Fair enough. Yes, I'm okay. Oh God. Yeah. Sometimes I'll use basic attacks because it's quicker, and you know I need to save MP. But as we get later and later, basic attacks will become more rare. And we'll only use them under certain circumstances, like for fiends. If someone has like a small enough amount of MP where we can just finish him off with the basic attack. I just hope my Mii doesn't try anything stupid, if you know what I mean. But yep, Anton will be a stubborn chef. For those of you guys who are not familiar with Criminal Case, he owns a restaurant, hence his job as a chef. And he is Mikkel's father. The good thing about chefs is they have a good balance between offense and support. Fighting and healing. Okay. Ooh, you know what? Let's just give it to Ashton so I can get some money. Sorry, Ashton, but we got money. Yeah, I need MP. Ugh, of course. At least Ashton's neutral. There. Yeah, it feels like the first outing ticket is always a cafe one. Unfortunately, I can't use the cafe and the cinema outing tickets because that will crash the game. Yeah, I might end this in just a few minutes because number one, I am starving, and number two, I am going to be paranoid about storage space. But the longer I go, the better I feel about just having to be careful. I just need to delete videos, so I'll keep this going for a little bit longer because I want to see if I can still make these decently long. Not just for Miitopia, but for the Papa Louie too. Papa Louie videos as well. But yeah. don't think I would have the mental capacity for jury duty, because number one, I'm on the spectrum, and number two, I have a lot of ADHD symptoms. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I've mentioned before that I highly suspect that I have it. I never even really thought about having ADHD. Like, it wasn't until August 2022 that I started realizing that I have it, and the more I look into it, the more I think I have it, because I have a lot of behaviors that I want to understand. You know, I want to understand why I act the way that I act, and then, like, you know, sometimes I'll put it in my phone, and then it'll be like, yes, ADHD can be a cause of this, or, you know, something similar. You know. Hold on, let me see something right quick. Sorry. It says handheld. I was gonna see if I can enable the dock mode, but I don't want to waste time, so I'll look into that later. But yeah, I hope if I do get called for jury duty, like, you know, I'll get exempt or something, because I don't think that's something I'll be able to have the mental capacity to do. My dad, he may lack a little bit, he may lack knowledge in some aspects when it comes to being on the spectrum and having ADHD, but he is understanding when it comes to lacking mental capacity to do certain things. So I'm hoping he would help me with the exemption process or whatever if I ever do get called into jury duty. Simps. Aww. Psst, 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 psst. But yeah, once I get my bank account, I'm definitely gonna try to, like, you know, focus a lot more on my books. I mean, don't worry, I'll still write on Wattpad, but I'm definitely gonna try to focus a lot more on my books as well, because that's what I want to do, you know. You guys are all my friends who watch this, Ashton and the two Ethans. I want to write self-help books that just contain knowledge, personal experiences, and advice. Ooh, good job. And one thing I want to cover in my autism spectrum book and my ADHD book, for example, is like people mainly focus on only children. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying children should be disregarded. What I'm saying is it's like, you know, adults who have it get disregarded. Like, once we become adults, we're expected to overcome our autism spectrum, you know, our disorders. And it just doesn't work like that. Like, we're always gonna have sensory issues. We're always going to be sensitive to criticism. We're always going to be childlike. It's not something that goes away just because we get to being a certain age, you know. This is something we have to live with all throughout our lives. So yes, I do want to give children some acknowledgement, absolutely. But a big part of these books is going to be me trying to get through to my readers that autism and ADHD can still greatly affect adults. And you know, children get bullied severely just for having autism and ADHD. And, like, it fucking sucks. But alright, our main teammate, Taru. Even adults get bullied and, you know, and have to deal with judgmental people. Like, they tell you to grow up, they shame you for, like, being sensitive to criticism. Like, it's just horrible. I'm not saying we should use our disorders to, like, get out of receiving criticism. But for the love of God, just be kind, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, too. It's not only is it just an us problem, but it's also people not knowing how to be kind. People are just insensitive assholes to us. You know, if people were more kind about giving criticism, you know, we would take it a lot more lightly. We would, you know, it would be easier for us to handle it. But yeah, I'll probably do a couple more battles and then we'll probably end it off. I'm a bit anxious about about storage space ever since that incident when I was trying to record my first playtest, so I don't want to keep this going for too long. Oh boy. Thank you, Taru. Thank you for not fucking up. And it could be a while before I have episode 2 out, so chances are by then I'll be able to find out if the sickness mod works or not. Because I want that shit removed. And I'll be able to talk to you guys about it. And if I figure out how to get it, I'll let you know, Green Ethan. In case you also want the mod. I try, and I don't know if every mod goes in the same folder path, you know, that's another thing I still need to figure out, so that's just something I'm gonna have to figure out as time goes on. Hopefully. Oh, okay, you know what? We'll go here. Someone can have a chance of getting some equipment. Yep. 53 minutes. Yeah. I think after we get this treasure chest, it'll be a good way to end off. I know that this has been a short episode, but I want to do it like that so it doesn't take up as much storage space, first of all, and second of all, it won't take as long to upload. So yeah. Alright. Cure. Yeah, I still have to get the treasure chest game. Patience. Okay, good. 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 Yeah, we're gonna be at the hour mark. God damn, that went by fast. Alright, Taru, you're gonna get some more vestments. But yeah. I'm not trying to downplay children with autism, but being on the spectrum and or having ADHD as an adult, like, it definitely comes with its own challenges. Alright, Ashton, you'll get it, you know. It's your permanent job, so I'll prioritize you over me. And Green Ethan, I'll do the same thing for when we get to next door and we're both scientists. I'll prioritize you since you are a permanent scientist. Whereas, for me, it's only temporary until I get the princess job. That's what I'm doing with Ashton, you know. I'll prioritize giving him mage equipment. He needs it more than I do, because he's gonna need it throughout the series. I just need it for Greenhorn. But yeah, and one of the things we deal with is people shaming us for not acting our age. Now, when you're a kid, you know, you're already a kid, so it doesn't matter, but adults on the spectrum get shamed for their struggles. You know, they shame us for being childlike. They shame us for being sensitive, and, you know, someone needs to put their foot down and be like, you know, that's not okay, you know. We need to be treated with, and, you know, people need to learn how to be kinder and more empathetic. And that's exactly what I intend to talk about in my neurodiversity, you know, neurodivergent related books. Alright, and stop. Okay, good. Good. So far, so good. Alright. Hold on, let me get rid of this tutorial. Alright, that's gonna be it for today, guys. I don't want to make this too long because I don't want it to shut off on me again, so I'm gonna leave it off right here. We had some good discussions, and I will see you later on down the road. I'm gonna be doing Scooperia next, but, you know, for now, this was Miitopia, and I hope you enjoyed.